Hey guys, hope everything's going well. You guys know the drill. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and comment down below. Follow me on Instagram at AIH_sports. Alrighty, I finally got some cards in the mail. Uh, I was feeling like crap. This was the day that Personal Finance Ed interviewed me, so I wanted to buy a card, you know, that would look great in my collection. So I had the impulse buy, but I'm not going to make any money on this. This is just for my own collection. It's a 1992 UD International Larry Bird Michael Jordan Fanimation card. This is an amazing card. I love it. It's a PSA 8. Got it from 4 Sharp Corners, maybe for like 35, 36 bucks. And there are a few scuffs. I don't know if you guys could see it. There's scratches on it, but I don't care because it's a cheap card. If it was a PSA 10, then I'd probably go to them saying that, hey, there's scratches on it, but it's a PSA 8. I didn't spend an arm and a leg. So, anyway, I love this card. I'm going to get some more of these cards. I mean, if you see on the back, there's a Michael Jordan, dunking. I may just get that because that's an amazing one. So this is the Italian version. I believe there's versions in Italy and the United States, if I am correct about this. But regardless, I love this card. Alrighty, so getting into my video, this is going to be more of an investment-based video. Just I've noticed a lot of channels, and this is not a criticism of them. This is just an observation. A lot of the channels talk about investing. And that's fine. Everyone has, their own channel. They could talk about whatever they want as long as they're not defrauding people. I'm cool with that. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are talking about investing. But one of the variables, in my opinion, they miss is not talking about the monetary policy, all this funny money in our economy, which has helped the sports card market go up. And I've talked about this numerous times, but I want to deeper dive into this. And I wanted to do this video because I saw this one YouTube guy. He talks about Magic the Gathering a lot and Pokemon cards. He has over 25,000 subscribers. And I think some of you guys that watch me watch him. And he talked about how there were individuals using the PPP loan money, and they were taking that money, and some of them got busted for buying Pokemon cards. I believe someone in Georgia spent $56,000 with the PPP money, and they bought Pokemon cards with it. Obviously, they were charged, and they're going to have to face jail time, it looks like. And he was saying that based on his own experience, just dealing with people, and he says that he dealt with, I believe, people of his own race. I may be wrong. I think Chinese individuals, and he said that they're college students that he's heard stories. So once again, he's heard stories. I cannot prove it. That they were they were opening up businesses to get PPP money, and instead of taking the cash out of the bank, which you can't do over $10,000, they were using that money to buy cards to take back home, and then they don't come back to the United States. Now, he's saying that's why the Pokemon cards and Magic the Gathering cards and all these other cards went up. I don't agree with that assessment. I believe that, okay, yeah, you have PPP loans, people are engaged in fraud, and yeah, there's going to be some hanky-panky out there. But one thing that I would add, besides the $800 million in PPP loans, which helped stimulate the economy in the short run, in the long term, I think it's not going to help because of inflation. But what happened was the Federal Reserve printed money like mad last year, and the government had all of these stimulus programs as well. You got a $600 check, or not 600, it was $1,200 check per person, and then $2,400 check per couple. And then they gave, what, $600 each. and there were some more programs as well. So the government stimulated that in, and the Federal Reserve, what they started, based on my research, I just did a little more reading on this. They injected about $120 billion a month starting in June of last year, where $80 billion was allocated towards buying treasury bonds to lower interest rates. And then they used $40 billion a month to buy mortgage backed securities. So the Federal Reserve has been doing that for over the past year, based on what I've been reading. And now we're at a point where they want to stop that. But going back to the $120 billion, this injection of money into the system has, in the short run, saved the economy, but at the same time, it has lowered interest rates, which makes the financing cost of these cards really cheap. So those on the high end, they're just borrowing money cheap from the Fed, and then they're just investing in these collectibles, high-end collectibles. So yeah, it makes sense why the collectibles market went insane. And then another crazy part that I looked into, from 2015 to 2020, the average increase in money supply, the M2, it increased somewhere between 3 to 7% a year. What happened from April of last year to at least June of this year, the money supply, like month by month, it was going up, not month by month, but like over a year time frame, it went up somewhere between, it went up over 20%. Some numbers I'm reading, it went high as 30%, whatever it was, it went up at least 20%. And that increase in money supply over the past year, now it's a year and a half, has been the largest increase in money supply in American history. And you have all this liquidity going in. It's going into collectibles. It's going into Bitcoin. It's going into sports cards. It's going into the S&P 500, the Russell 2000. And you could even say precious metals. Silver has gone up $10. Gold went up, I think, 400, $500, if I remember correctly. Whatever it was, there has been asset appreciation. And same thing with high-end real estate. That has gone up too. All the houses in my area, as of right now, they have increased in value. I don't know how that's going to be in the next few years, but as of right now, they have increased. So now going back to the Fed. So they give all this monopoly money. And now what they want to do is they've talked about tapering. So what does tapering mean? It means that they're not going to buy as much bonds as they were in the past. So that $80 billion, now they're going to buy $70 billion the next month. And then instead of $40 billion in mortgage-backed securities, they're going to buy $35 billion. Now, when you're taking liquidity out of the system, when our economy has been propped up by this, the sports card market has been propped up by this, what's going to happen to this gravy train? It's starting to end. That's what's happening. That doesn't mean that the cards that you have are going to go to zero. No, it just means that the rate of return on your investment or on your sports cards is going to go down. Now, the tricky part in the collectibles industry is, where is the money going to move next? Some people think it's going to be UFC. Some people think, even though it's gone up, some people think it's going to be Marvel. It could be that as well. But what I'm trying to say is, the days of all these sports cards going up like crazy, well, it's not going to happen. And from 2018 onwards, not 2018, 2018, I showed you graphs where it was an ideal time to buy when they started to lower interest rates from the Federal Reserve. Now we're in the opposite process. We're in the process of raising interest rates again. Now that may not happen until June or July of next year, when actually the tapering ends. So the Federal Reserve is no longer going to be buying bonds. And like I said, the Federal Reserve propped the collectibles markets up. And what happens when all this liquidity goes away? When now the financing cost goes higher. Now, if it goes, interest rates go up by a little bit, is that going to totally kill the high end? No. But if you raise it over and over again, people are going to be headed for the exits. So suppose you bought a card and it's gone up 10x, and then you're starting to see the market still isn't doing so hot. You may see the market doing hot before the season starts. The market was doing pretty well before the NFL season started. And then it's slowly going down for all these quarterbacks. Maybe some Brady cards have remained steady because it's Tom Brady and he's still performing at a high level. Some Mac Jones cards have gone crazy because a lot of people didn't price in that he would be a phenomenal quarterback this early. So yeah, those individuals that are beating expectations, like a stock beats expectation, those players are going to do well. And that's going to be the tricky part. Just trying to figure out, okay, who's going to be the next best thing in baseball. Like you see a lot of money going into these prospects like Wander Franco, Tatis Jr., and Acuna Jr., etc. Now, there may be a guy that no one's looking at right now. Well, there may be some money put into this guy, just as a small speculation, and all of a sudden, he gets to the All-Star game. And then all of a sudden, this prospect is now second in the MVP list. That's the type of those type of cards are going to go higher, and that's going to be the tricky part. I remember Christian Yelich cards when he had that MVP season. Those cards were going insanely high, and now no one wants to invest in Christian Yelich. I believe that Christian Yelich's back is affecting his performance. He didn't have a good year. I mean, they didn't do so hot in the playoffs either. So, I wanted to mention this because everyone looks at investing, and one of the most important parts in the collectible arena, it's inflation, it's interest rates, it's money supply, all of these things. And I don't see too much content regarding this. I mean, you do see people talking about it here and there, but I believe this is important. And when you get rid of this money in the system that has helped prop it, there's going to be problems in this marketplace. And that's why I'm just buying just cards like these. This is just for my own personal collection because it looks good. I was having a bad day, like I said, and I just bought this because this looks nice. I could talk about this on this video, and if someone brings me on their channel, I could talk about things like this, what I'm doing. So, yeah, I'm just curious to see what you guys have to say about all of this. I know most of you guys don't follow this stuff, which is fine. I follow a lot of things. I follow politics, I follow sports, I follow the card market, I follow the stock market, and like I said, I follow what's going on with just interest rates. I follow the Federal Reserve intensely because I used to be heavily involved in precious metals. So this is just what I do on the side, and that's why I'm providing this insight over here. But guys, let me know what you think. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Comment down below, guys. Thanks. Oh, yeah. One other thing I wanted to mention, sorry, is that regards to the economy in general, last year, people didn't have to pay their rent. And now people have to pay rent because if they don't pay rent, they could be evicted. So I believe part of the other reason why people were able, or why the card market went crazy, is people weren't paying rent and they're speculating in cards, I believe, and they probably tried to speculate in cards to pay their rent in the future. Because if they lost their job and some people are short of cash, what are they going to do? They're going to do desperate things. And I believe the collectibles industry benefited from that government policy. Whether you agree or not, I think that's what happened. So I just wanted to throw that in there because I think it's important to know why collectibles went up crazy like that. And now you don't have that. And you have sporting events now. You could go to the bar. So all that money that wasn't placed in sports last year, it's going back to the stadiums. It's going back to buying all this junk food at the stadiums. It's going into sports gambling. So just wanted to point that out, guys. Anyways, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, comment down below, guys. Thanks. Bye.